away. I'm done, so done. It's more than I can take.
Don't start with the wisecracks. I know it looks bad. Hey, do you remember that shiner I got playing backyard footy? It was me and you against Alex and Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Still no apology from Theo. Not even a text, huh? Can you believe it?
I know what you've been doing to Theo. He told us everything.
You lost me.
I'm talking about all the injuries he had to explain away at school, the cracked ribs, the concussion. What is wrong with you?
Is that what he's been telling you?
Don't deny it.
Look, whatever Theo's told you, he's obviously exaggerating,
Oh,
okay?
shh.
You got to be tough with him the same way Dad was tough with
Dad
us.
never hit us.
Obviously not you, but he sure as hell disciplined me and the other boys.
What you're doing isn't discipline, it's abuse.
Don't tell me how to raise my son.
You're a disgrace. I can't even look at you.
I'll save you the trouble, okay?
Hello and welcome. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast where we unpack the latest week's episodes and discuss the residents, their lives, and all the drama from our favourite fictional town, Summer Bay. Oh, there's a composition Leah's on.
Oh, I know. Sorry.
Oh
There's
my
no
God.
hairdryer.
No, well,
hairdryer. It's all tech. It's all like.
no, that's just Alf, but I was like, oh, I'm going to have to top my phone up.
I know. Oh, you're going to draw £8 each? Oh, I was waiting for the hairdryer and I was waiting for Alf to come on. I was like, no, this is not as funny. Why have they done this?
No, but she still said, Darby.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. I really like the twang. It's good.
Today's the first time I've seen it. Is it just me?
Yeah, no, I think it's new. I didn't see it yesterday.
And do you know what else is new?
Oh,
The Channel 7 bim bidi bim at the end.
oh yes, yeah. The little what do they call
Is
them?
it just do you notice that? Is it
Yeah.
just me that's like, that was a new jingle?
I always notice like new sounds and yeah, I notice
Yeah.
sounds more than I notice like colours and stuff.
Yeah. The favourite was when it used to go 7 because we used to like copy that, like first person to say it.
That's
Oh.
hilarious.
Did when that went. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coastal News. This is the kind of conversations we have. My name's Si, and I'm joined, as always, by my trusty co-host, Sophie.
Hello.
How are you, Sophie? You
Good.
okay?
Yeah, all good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Well, I'm gonna need a bit of your help this week
Oh,
with recapping some of the story, because I said I'd do it, but I have forwarded Chloe as much as I've done it. For example, tonight I didn't get anything in the last 3 or 4 minutes. It's I turned it. I paused it.
I can help.
forwarded it.
Yeah, I can help.
I'm gonna need your help. I'm done.
I don't blame you.
Mhm.
It's not even worth talking about, but I will fill you in.
Oh, thank you. I saw her with a cake,
Oh God, yeah.
and I obviously put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, I'm fed up. Done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how's your week been?
Yeah, good. Been a bit busy at work. Nothing else exciting going on outside of work, unfortunately, this week. But yeah, it's been okay. What about you?
No, just all the drama from the Bay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what
I'm
else do I
really
need?
well. That's enough to get on with.
Exactly.
I'm really well. Thank you. Had a this week has flown.
It has.
And I've said it before, but I don't know. It just feels like we were last recording this like yesterday. You know.
I know.
I don't know where this week has gone,
I know.
and
Yeah.
and the weather's been great. You
It
know,
has.
it's been good.
Yes.
In a good mood.
Yeah.
So lots obviously to talk about from home and away this week. Do you want your headlines?
Yeah, go for it.
Theo finally admits his abuse, and Dimitri leaves town, we think. Logan and Mac toy with the truth. Rue and Maz meditate. Who's benefiting from that, though? We'll discuss that later.
Didn't look very relaxing, did it?
Chloe reaches out to Mia, whilst Xander and Rose reach out to Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
So we finished last week off with the big punch, the Theo frothing at the mouth, he punched Dimitri, finally, bubbled up to the surface, didn't it? His hate and his anger over what we know the audience has been the abuse, and it's completely perplexing Leah and Justin still at that point. And they're like, Theo, what you doing? And he just wallops your dad one in the surf club with all these witnesses, and he, you can see it on Theo's face. I thought it was a fantastic performance.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, I quite enjoyed him punching him. I was a bit worried because I don't know whether anyone saw what happened before that. And I was a bit worried that he was going to get painted as the problem and all of that sort of stuff. Because his dad looked like he kind of punched him like in his stomach, almost like hidden. So he was like, he kind of hit him out of sight of everybody else.
Yeah.
And then
it was a bit of a...
all they saw was like Theo retaliate. So I was like, oh, he's trying to paint him as the bad guy and go, look, it's all his problem. And I was a bit worried it was going to go down that and they weren't going to believe him. But I'm really glad we didn't go down that route. And that they have just...
Yeah, well, they are all sort of. Yeah, I agree, completely agree. And I was a bit on tenterhooks, really, thinking, oh no, please, please, because it could have gone either way, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, Leah jumped, rightly so. He's like, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And Theo, fair play to him, sticks to his guns. He's not going to dob him in. He's not going to tell tales. He just sort of goes off to cool off, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then it's only when John, bless him, comes over.
Yeah.
And we've said a few times on here that,
my BFF, John, by the way.
Yeah. Yellow heart.
I'm on cloud 9.
John comes over, and we've said a few times we're surprised he's not managed to say anything just yet, but I think that's probably tipped John into, okay, I need to intervene here.
Yeah.
He goes over to see Liam and Justin, and he tells them.
Yeah.
What did you make of this scene? Do you think John did the right thing?
Yeah, I think he did. I think it's gone to the point now where it's out of his hands. And obviously because Theo was still, not really opening up about what was happening. I think John had a responsibility to talk after that, didn't he, really? Because we had a minute where we thought Theo was going to leg it, didn't we? We thought he was going to leave. And
yeah.
So I think he did the right thing. Do you?
I do. And actually, I was trying to put myself in John's shoes a bit.
Yeah.
I think I would have done it sooner. And I think, if we cast our mind back to the last week, maybe that says a lot about how trustworthy I am. But when John arrives back in town and he gets introduced to Dimitri, he goes, oh, you're Theo's dad. Yeah. I think at that point, if it was me, I might have gone, you might want to just have a quick chat with Theo, just trust me on this one.
Yeah.
Not everything is as it seems. It might have been a bit cryptic, but maybe it would have had a different result. I was thinking maybe I'd have done that. In reality, I'd like to think I would have done that, but I probably would have done it even earlier.
Yeah.
So I do agree with John saying something, and Theo took it quite well.
Yeah, definitely.
When he learns it.
I think John had to say something because I think the reason it kicked off was kind of John's fault, wasn't it? Like you just said, when he met Dimitri and he was like, oh, I've heard a lot about you. And then the reason why it all kicked off in the surf club was because of that, because Dimitri was going, what have you told people? What have you told people? So John kind of made that situation happen. So I think he is responsible for that. punch, really, or we're escalating that quickly, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I'd not thought of it that way. It was John that got the situation to where it was, wasn't it? Really?
I think so, because that's why Dimitri was all sort of hot-headed, and he was like, "Oh, you've been talking about me," and we might have ended up with the punch anyway, but I think John pushed the button on that one.
Well, Leah and Justin take it. I thought surprising. I thought Leah especially. I thought believed it. You know, she took it and she accepted that information, didn't she?
Yeah.
And I thought I didn't expect her to do that. I thought, am I just thinking poorly of her? Do you know what I mean? Like, I expect her to go, no, not my Dimitri.
No,
I there's no way
same.
you could do that.
Yeah, I thought the same. I thought she was very quick to believe him. Not necessarily that she would think that Theo was lying, but that she wanted to hear both sides of the story before she made an opinion. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I expected her to go, John, you're talking a load of rubbish, and then go off to Dimitri and go, John said this. I want the truth off you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But she didn't, did she? She sort of took it. And so we're to assume from that even Leah thinks he's capable of it.
Yeah, I mean, we had a little hint, didn't we, that when she was talking to him on the beach and she confronted him, he didn't deny it, did he? He was like, yeah, you know, this is what Dad did to us. And she said, he never hit. Yeah, she said, he never hit me. He goes, no, he never hit you, but he hit the rest of his boys. Yeah. So I think it's probably not a stretch for her if she knew her father was like that.
Dad. Yeah, you're right. And, you know, it akens back to something we discussed on last week's episode about the whole hierarchy in the Greek household, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That actually, she's probably witnessed that in other scenarios, you know.
Yeah.
And as backwards as we feel it is these days, that's the way that is, you know.
And I think she was hoping it was a generational thing that was now in the past, wasn't she? You know, that's what their dad did, but it doesn't mean we have to repeat the mistakes of that generation or whatever. So I think she was shocked to hear that he was doing it, but not necessarily to the point where she didn't believe it, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Do you know, I absolutely loved that scene where she confronted him at the beach.
Yeah, it was good.
And she says, you are disgusting.
Yeah.
I thought, it's about time someone tells this monster.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She said, you're disgusting.
She said exactly what you said. You said that she'd be ashamed of her brother and all of that sort of stuff. And she exactly what you said. She said, you know, I'm ashamed of you and all of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I think he needed to hear it, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. I think someone needed to say that to him, you know. And she says, I can't even look at you. And he says, I'll do you a favour. And he just runs off. And I just thought, you're a coward.
Yeah, he is a
coward.
You're
absolute coward.
He is a coward, yeah.
He gets to just drive off into the sunset now.
Yeah.
And, you know, but poor Theo will carry that with him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, look at us.
Affect him. I know. I know. Team Theo. Whoop, whoop.
Please don't listen back. If you're a new listener, if you listen back, you think these two, they're fickle as anything.
It's the writing.
And you'd be right.
The writing is so good that it made a character that we weren't that keen on, you know, and turned it 360. So credit to the writers on that one.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
They do.
Yeah, done the right number. Leah, but Dimitri's not the only person Leo confronts. Another great scene was when she confronted Chloe for messing about with him.
Oh, I love that scene.
One of the few Chloe scenes that I saw.
I love that scene. That was brilliant because obviously she's been telling porkies, hasn't she? So she went off to Bella and she's saying, oh, I slept with Theo and it was a big mistake, and now he's stalking me and he won't leave me alone, he keeps sending me text messages. And after this, Bella saw them sitting on a bench together, didn't she? And then I think Theo said something like, do you want to go out for dinner later? And at first Chloe said yes, and then when she saw Bella, she was like, oh no, I can't, I don't want anything to do with you. And like he was like, what's the matter?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I am done with her.
I know,
as a character, because I can't deal with this.
But she needs to be smarter. So she's telling Theo, I don't regret it, it's all fine, and then she's going around to literally everybody else in the bay and saying it's a mistake, he's stalking me. And of course Theo explains to Leah the truth, his version of it. And he says, I slept with Chloe and, you know, she's basically thrown it back in my face and it's not making me feel very good. So of course Leah would stick up for him and go. She's gone round to Chloe because she knows the real truth and sort of throwing it back in her face. It's not going to be long until the two sides start to talk, surely.
Exactly.
Because Chloe's already been caught in a lie, hasn't she? She said she was seeing her mum and not seeing her mum, and then she got caught out by Bella for lying on that as well.
Yeah, there was a weird conversation this week that was like, oh, Chloe's gone home to see her mum.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it happened off screen. I didn't have to see it.
Yeah.
But like, and then later in the week, I'm seeing them bump into each other. I'm like,
yeah.
What? So did they meet? Do you know, last week Maka was on and we were talking about, me and Maka particularly mentioned that we were confused about this storyline now and the timeline and when things happen. And this week's no different for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I am getting completely lost. So have they met each other before, like today's episode, where I've noticed they've got a lot of scenes together?
I think they have.
Are we to...
Yeah, but we don't think we saw it. I think it's been explained away by other people explaining it to us, you know, as
how ridiculous.
I know.
After all this time of them and all this deal being made, why then have something happen off screen?
Or maybe it didn't make the cut. I don't know. Maybe the scene got cut. I don't know.
Yeah, that's quite possible actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to speculate, but we didn't see it anyway, did we? So
well, I'm not no love lost. No. But it was one of the very few scenes I saw because it was like a very quick in passing in the diner, and it was like, stop messing with Theo around. He doesn't need it. And she's like, oh, you know. So even Leah's like,
Yeah, but did you see what happens? Immediately, Chloe turns on the waterworks and plays the victim, and then Marilyn's all over, isn't she? Going, "Oh, poor Chloe! Oh, poor Chloe."
Is she?
Yeah.
I didn't see that bit.
Yeah, because Leah kind of stormed off, and then Chloe's all upset, and then Marilyn's like, "Oh, poor love." I was like, "No, she's the devil."
Reincarnate. Every time, obviously, I've picked the remote up when she's around to try and forward it or whatever. My partner's going, that's the only noise I've heard all week.
Psycho killer.
Gets good stick. We were that's going to be in my head now. We were talking about like spoilers tonight, and I was like, guess who's leaving home and away? And he was like, I was like, know exactly who it is.
Yeah.
Well, Leah and Theo, they get out of town, they go and check on his mum, so that just gives them a bit of a breakaway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd personally be thinking that might be where Dimitri's heading, to his estranged wife.
Yeah.
So they're all in a bit of a mess, aren't they? And this week it's Justin's turn to have a loose end.
Oh,
and he's a bit lost, isn't he, wandering around town like, ooh.
Yeah.
So
I've got a friend in the world.
Yeah, I'm hoping Theo comes back and he's all ready to crack on with his apprenticeship and tries to put what he can behind him. That's what I'm hoping for with that one. What about you?
Yeah, same. I don't know how the Chloe storyline's gonna go, but I'm hoping, get back on track with the apprenticeship. Maybe get closer to Ziggy, you know, maybe a mentorship going on there at the garage. So
and just crack on with all the love triangles and all whatever else all the kids get involved in.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And with that, we can safely say we've accepted him in. We're happy for him to be back.
Yeah, we are.
Did you know that you can play Coastal News, a home and away podcast, right from your Amazon Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play Coastal News now. And of course, you can still catch your latest episodes on all other podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Castbox, Audible, Player FM, and much more. Just search Coastal News, a home and away podcast right now, wherever you get your podcasts from.
Now, somebody else who's not accepting anybody in is Mac, this week.
Oh, yeah.
And we spoke at length last week about her money-making poker night and how hilarious it was and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
And this, I know you quite vocal, Sophie, it'd be fair to say, about Logan and his little nose sniffing around.
Get your nose out. Yeah.
And he's at it this week. He's suspicious AF, isn't he?
Yeah, what's it got to do with him? I just don't understand why he thinks it's any of his business. It's her business. She doesn't have to report to him. He's not her dad. I just don't, or her boss. I just don't know why he's like a dog with a bone. And he's got so many secrets. He came to the Bay with so many secrets, and he ended up in a hotel room with his ex. I don't think he's got any right to start controlling Mac. I just find him really annoying this week again. Sorry.
We've lost you with Logan, haven't we? I think you've gone.
I'm ready for him to rack off. The quiet, the polite version.
No, I mean, maybe it's because I'm a bloke, but I've still got a little bit of. I think she's up to something. He's already had to pay off a debt collector. He's thinking she's in more trouble than she's letting on. Is what maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I don't know.
I think he's just nosy. I don't think he's worried about her. He just wants to know what's going on. He cannot bear the fact that he's not in on the secret.
Do you not think though that if you paid off one of your partner's debt collectors, you'd be thinking, right, what's going on here? They're keeping something from me.
Yeah, but she's not. She's saying, "Oh, it's a private function. It's a restaurant, and that's not a stretch, is it?"
No, but clearly they don't do it because that's one of Ryder's bright ideas.
Yeah.
Bright cover-ups for later on. But I don't know. I think we're sitting on different sides of the fence here.
I think the writers have obviously tried to escalate it quicker than, because normally this would go on for weeks, wouldn't it? And he'd be another private function. Oh, that's weird. And then after a couple of weeks, you might get suspicious. But getting suspicious after one?
Yeah, it's been sped up.
It's too much. It's,
It is a little bit. I mean, and obviously Ryder passes the note with blackjack on it.
Yeah.
And, there's all this going on. And then, so he's thinking, and you are right. Why does he need to know the ins and outs of work for Mac? He doesn't, does he?
No.
And before now, he's not needed to. He just rocks up and gets a drink and what have you. You know what I mean? Like,
he seems to have a lot of time on his hands, doesn't he?
He does. And isn't there a line where Mac's like, what you doing here again? I don't watch you do surgery or something. And I'm like, when is the last time he's done any surgery? He's been lingering around you all week.
Yeah, which is weird because before Neve turned up, she was getting a bit frustrated that he was always at work and then coming home after the night shift, going to bed, and they weren't spending a lot of time together. And,
Bingo.
She was getting annoyed with him because... Do you remember when Martha was still in the Bay and he was still running around after her? And she said to him, "Martha's not your patient." And then Marilyn's not your patient and Rue's not your patient. And he was still going out of his way to help everybody. And like, "Oh, I've got to go because I need to help Martha. I've got to go help Marilyn or whatever." And she was like, "They're not your patients. You're not at work." So and now it's like
you are right. You've hit the nail on the head. It's all the other way.
Yeah.
That's a massive oversight. That's a proper flip.
Yeah.
And you're right. That is one of the things that is frustrating me, in that he's gone from 100 to 0 in the space of a week.
Yeah.
And you're right. Are we now supposed to just forget that part of the problem in their relationship was never seeing each other?
Yeah. And he was a workaholic.
Let's
and all
sync
of that
diaries.
Sort of
Yeah. So you're right. I suppose that's in the past. We've got to forget that now. I suppose. Well, it's mad.
Like a couple of weeks ago.
I know, but it suits the plot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that, I suppose that's one of the bugbears of this show sometimes, in that there's a lot of things you've got to just put aside just to go with the plot, because the plot's going so quick. You know.
Yeah.
And we do have to put a lot of things aside sometimes. But it doesn't take long for Ryder to convince. Ryder's the one that sort of is the catalyst for this, which is mad to me, like mind-blowingly mad.
He's got a personality change, hasn't he?
He has. He's got very daring. He knows it's illegal. He knows it's wrong. Okay, he wants to help his friend, He
wants to keep his job, doesn't he, at the end of the day?
Yeah, but... the Ryder we know would be going on worrying that he's broke the law and the police are going to be knocking on the door. Yeah. And of all things, the town copper's sister was involved. So
Yeah.
chances are it's not going to be a secret for long.
No.
You know, like, come on, Ryder, man. And then you're the one begging her to reopen and do. Not only that,
Yeah.
twisting her arm enough to go over to the caravan park to try and rope Flick back in with all the dodgy. Get the A-team back together.
Yeah,
They
that was
put it.
cute. That was a cute scene.
It was cute, but it's not Ryder.
No, it's
It's
not.
not Ryder.
No,
Unless
you're
I've
right.
got the wrong perception of Ryder. I
No, I
mean,
think you're right. I think again, it's another where the personality's changed overnight, isn't it? And we're supposed to just go with it, but it doesn't feel normal. If this had been more of a slow burn, these casino nights or whatever they call poker nights, you know, they do one and then a couple of weeks go by and it's like, oh, we're still in debt. Let's do another one. And then Logan starts to get suspicious because it's the second time they've shut the place down for a private function, all that sort of stuff. It's just gone too quick, and I think there's holes in it. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Logan's not the only one suspicious. Dean is.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
he's throwing out comments to Tane, like,
Yeah.
you know, he always, you know, because he's sticking his nose in at the beach a few times with things, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've dismissed those scenes because I'm thinking, what have you got to do with it? You
I
know
don't
what I
know
mean?
what's going on with the beef between Dean and Tane, actually. When Dean's had a go at Tane a couple of times and gone, what's going on at your house? And Tane's gone,
Yeah.
none of your business. And I'm like, when did these two fall out? Have I missed that?
No, I think it's all about Chloe and
Yeah.
Chloe being at his, and obviously he told Chloe to do one.
Yeah.
I just think it's that, and I think he's then muscling in, going, "Is Mia all right? They're not struggling." And I'm thinking, it's just stay out of it, Dean. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's he got to do with you?
But the way Dean's going about it, he's not going, oh, Tane, you know, I'm really worried and how are things. He's going across and going, oh, what's going on with your family? Like, it's quite confrontational. And then obviously Tane's defensive after. You would be, wouldn't you? Like, someone's going, oh, what's the matter with your family? You'd be like, nothing. What's the matter with yours?
Tane even says, "My family, my problem."
Yeah.
Keep your nose out, you know.
I just don't know why Dean's gone a bit. I mean, I know Dean's got a bit of a temper, but why has he gone so aggro? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It doesn't make any sense. No. I understand the bit where he's worried about Mac. He knows the money sitch.
Yes.
And he's not.
That's his family.
Yeah. And he's not in on the poker.
No.
And speaking of Ryder, you know, he's the weak spot. Or in Dean's eyes, Ryder's the weak spot. You know, I'll go for him. He'll tell me.
He can't keep a secret.
And this is another thing that is different about Ryder, because Ryder actually lies to Dean about what's going on.
Yeah.
He toes the line, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I thought, do you know what? Under that pressure, Ryder would have given that up.
Yeah, he would.
X amount of years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a bit frustrated with Ryder again. You know, it was bad enough that he got with Chloe. I've just forgiven him for that now. He's got rid of her.
Yeah.
And now he's getting involved in all this rubbish and he's loving it. And I just don't. I'm just not happy. Just not happy.
He's not your Ryder.
in order to throw everybody off the scent, they steal Dean and Ziggy's Hunter Valley escape.
This is so weird. I need a surprise. I said I'm doing a surprise. Oh, here you go. Have a trip.
I happen to be talking about this random Groupon or something to a wine thing that 3 scenes ago. Would you like it? Conveniently, I've just randomly mentioned this trip that we were doing.
Oh, I love it. Oh dear.
When that scene happened and they were like, let's use that Hunter Valley trip. I'm like, what Hunter Valley trip? Okay. This clearly is for something different.
Listen, this is important. Yeah.
We didn't come down in the last shower here at Coastal News.
No, exactly. It's like, if you hear a new word, you're like, this is going to be important. Or like that guy Nathan at the casino night. He's definitely going to have another part, because why would they name him if they didn't?
Yeah, I named him, and they kept the camera on him too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got something to do with it. We know this isn't going to be the last. What do we think? Logan's not buying this Hunter Valley trip cover up, I don't think. Do you?
I don't know. I don't know. He seemed to be up for it. I don't know whether he necessarily believed that was the surprise that she was talking about. I don't know.
Why can't he just be in on it? Tane is.
I don't know. I think, is it because he's a doctor and he's got like, like Tane and Flick and that, they're all, to put John's words on it, miscreants, aren't they? They're all a bit naughty. And I think, is Logan just a bit too army boy, follows the rules? Doctor
maybe.
needs to keep his nose clean because he doesn't. If a doctor gets involved with something illegal, can he get struck off? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is
Probably not
yeah.
in Soapland.
Not in Soapland, no, exactly.
No.
But in real life, they probably
You can buy a
could.
gym with dodgy money and nobody even question it. Just a phone call to one of the boys.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's all sorted.
Your boyfriend's family was living in a car not that long ago, and now you own a business. Suspicious.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So we spoke last week. We were chatting with Macca and I last week on last week's episode. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen. It's a good one. But Macca and I were telling you, Sophie, that that camera was just on Maz a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And is there a little bit more going on there? But we were sort of leaning towards Rue, thinking, Maz needs a bit of cheering up. She needs to find some purpose or something,
Yeah.
And Rue attempts to help her, and she sort of ambushes her home from work and sings, "Let's meditate," which I thought was a glorious light moment of the week. Actually,
the internet. Love that. Baron is like, I've been meditating for 20 years, Rue. I don't need the internet to tell me what to do.
Yeah. Maz is like, fidgeting.
Yeah.
And she's like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
No.
What I liked, though, because Maz being one of the fan favourites, were very, very defensive of her.
Yeah.
Because, she's ditzy, she's silly, she's stupid, but she's not switched on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She knows how to read a situation. She's not stupid. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And there is a very fine line between her silliness and her airheadedness and being stupid, and stupid she isn't. She knows socially how to read a situation.
Yeah.
She's cracked right onto it with Rue. She knows it's more about Rue needing it than her.
Yeah.
And she says that to her. She says it. She says, "Okay, I'll meditate with you, but just so you know, it's for you, not me."
Yeah. Yeah.
And Rue's just like, "Okay, yeah."
And I think they both are acting like they're doing it for the other one, aren't they? So Rue's like, "Oh yeah, of course it's for me," and Marion's like, "Oh yeah, of course it's for me," but they both mean it's for you.
Yeah.
They're both playing that part, aren't they? Like they both think
absolutely.
it's for the other one, and that they're both convinced that they're absolutely fine.
And the actresses do it blindingly.
They do.
Amazing chemistry.
Yeah.
I love watching them together. So when I learned that we were going to be watching them try and meditate together, I thought, gold.
There was no meditation bowl though. I was disappointed.
I was disappointed. Yes, I was disappointed. Considering all the trouble she went through to go and fetch it.
I know. She left it at Irene's, or do you think Irene confiscated it because she was up in the middle of the night with it? I don't know.
Irene's tossing a salad in it.
Maybe.
I said salad.
No, that's why I'm oh dear, my brain is going somewhere else. Anyway,
I know it has. Well, Rue soon gets wind that Martha and Alf are coming back.
Oh yes,
they're coming home, and she gets all prepared. Orders a family-size meat pie off
You never cook. No one has anybody got an oven on this program? I don't think they have, apart from Leah. Leah's got an oven. We've seen her cooking at home.
Yeah, Leah cooks quite a bit actually, doesn't she?
Yeah, considering that's
quite
her
a lot of
job.
breakfast,
She
yeah.
cooks all day long, doesn't she?
I know, I don't catch me doing that.
No, not at all.
And so, you know, she orders the pie in and she sets up the paints on the veranda. And oh, my heart was breaking for her because you know, it's not going to happen.
No.
And then, of course, call from Kieran.
Kieran called from Marimbula.
I thought, do you know? I thought at that point, well, here we go.
I know. I thought it was the bad call. I don't know. I was convinced it was going to be you need to come now and say goodbye. Did you think that?
I thought it was going to be illegible.
Really?
Oh. I am sober, honest. Yeah. I mean, at least Kieran's been mentioned. We know he's still down there.
Still down there, yeah.
Rocking in a corner. And yeah, so they're not coming. She's taken a bit of a turn for the worse. And we learnt tonight on 5 Star. Just read the address.
I laughed out loud at that.
Cancel the pie.
So first of all, they were going to come home, weren't they, to Summer Bay? And then it was, oh no, she's really poorly, she's in hospital. And then there was a couple of episodes where Rue was like, shall I go and see her? And Irene was like, yes. And she was like, oh, I don't know whether I should go. And eventually Irene convinces her to go because she says, I'll come with you if you want some company. And then they're literally about to set off, aren't they? And then Alf calls and says, oh, it's okay. She's just a bit dehydrated and she's fine now. I was like, are you joking?
Yeah.
Was this...
And that was it. Yeah. And Alf says to her on the phone, don't come then. Yeah. And I'm thinking, is Alf deliberately now trying to stop her going? Does he not want to stress her out or something? And then she just sort of says, and Irene's a bit like, are we going? No, we're not going, doll.
Yeah. Don't know. Maybe she...
Like a whistling Dixie.
Yeah. Maybe, because the last time we saw Alf, he said to Rue, don't come unless you're not going to give your mum grief, didn't he, really? So maybe he's thinking, if Rue knows that Martha's okay, will she just turn up and give her grief? Because she can't? I
think Alf's a bit... He's sort of, he's got trepidation, I think, about Rue going down there because... Yeah. And there was a very quick throwaway comment from Rue during the week, and it was a bit like, oh, we've spoken a couple of times on the phone now. Nothing major. Yeah. So I think we need to assume that Alf sort of doesn't really want Rue down there. So, oh, she's fine. She's just a bit of dehydration. You don't need to come now. Yeah. And then Rue sort of says to Irene, doesn't she? No, I need to see her.
Yeah.
And I think we all agree she does need to see her. So Irene, bless her, gonna drive her down there. And she's got. I think Rue's gonna come back. One kidney down.
Do you think? Ooh.
Keep saying it, don't I? I know I keep saying it, but
maybe. Yeah, I mean, we don't. I mean, if we thought Martha had changed her mind, then Alf would be getting her down there, wouldn't they? But
no, but there's going to be some stuff going on now down there that we're not going to be particular to until we read your book.
We have been to Marimbula, haven't we? Because we have seen the garden, haven't we? Haven't we seen Kieran in the garden of Marimbula before?
Have we?
Or have I dreamt that?
No, we've taken the piss about that.
Have we? Oh, have I dreamt that?
Yeah.
Oh,
we've taken the piss.
Have we never been to Marimbula?
I don't think we've been to Marimbula. We went to like a service station out yonder somewhere on the way there.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I just thought we saw Kieran and his mum in the garden somewhere. Maybe that was at the Summer Bay house.
Yeah, we've not been to Marimbula.
I want to go to Marimbula. I want to see what.
I know I've heard so much about it. I know. Spin off.
Yeah.
Somebody get that sorted out. Spin off. Yeah, we need to see that. Let's see what happens. That poor meat pie is going to go to waste. Who's going to eat the meat pie? That's the big mystery of the week.
Ryder.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, Ryder will.
Because it won't be Marilyn, will it?
Not unless she's off her meds.
Yeah, maybe Ryder takes it to work and they all share it at work. I don't know. Yeah.
I need to know these things.
Pie watch.
Yeah. Last week it was corn.
They're probably still eating that. God, that was nice. Oh dear, and so much cake.
Cake.
There was cake in every scene this week. I was like sitting there thinking, I need cake. There was like Chloe cake. There was Jasmine cakes and muffins. What else did I see that was cakey? And I was just like, is there cake in it? Because it's making me hungry. Yeah.
Oh, I could just eat some cake.
I know, I don't have any. I need to make some. Yeah.
Well, we've already spoken about sort of Chloe reaching out to me off screen.
Yeah.
We've already sort of covered that, but you know, there's this sort of, you know, this moment back at the Parata house. We've got some scenes there this week, and Tane's in his mode where he's trying to look after all the family. You know, he's trying to keep everybody going, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's been failing miserably, I must admit. You know, bless him, 10 out of 10 for effort. You know, but you know, nobody's been talking. You know, Chloe's up to God knows what, scheming and bitching and what have you. And he's trying to hold the gym down, isn't he? He's doing all the shifts and whatever you need, I'll do it. And you know, but also he's sort of let his hair down, managed to fit in a bit of poker, and let his hair down a bit, and he's seen a bit more Flick this week, which I do enjoy, and that sort of reignited me love for them two and Tenacity as a couple. And Flick sort of has this moment where she's a bit like, yeah, I'm gonna go and sleep over. You know, whatever. Last time I was there, Mia was a bit frosty, and I'm thinking, Mia's frosty, anything.
It's nothing to do with
That's
you.
actually, it's a very good adjective for Mia. Do you know that moment where he's washing the pots and she jumps up at the kitchen window?
I'd have wet myself.
I'd have soiled myself. Do you ever sort of stand there in the dark in the kitchen and think, I wonder if somebody's out there?
Yeah, because you're lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
You can't see out, can't you?
I know.
Anybody out there? Yeah, that freaks me out.
That's one of the most scariest moments in life. In the kitchen at night.
She came through the back door.
Oh, not another one.
That's the first time I've seen someone come through the back door there.
It's not just Irene accepting strangers through the back door.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, if I'd been stood at the kitchen sink and someone came up to my window like that, I would have wet myself.
I'd have at least broken a glass.
Yeah. And he was just like, oh, hi. I was like, really?
Come on down. Yeah, it was a bit strange.
That was funny.
And then there's this he's very happy that she's snuck in like a child, and she's doing this role play thing, like, let's be hot. Let's pretend I'm not supposed to be here. Da, 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 da. And they're getting down and they're getting a bit cozy on the sofa there.
Yeah.
And I can't even talk about it.
And again, another frightening appearance in the background that you're not expecting. Mia, sleepwalking.
Flick was certainly frightened.
Yeah, she did react, to be fair, but Tane was like, oh? Do you know what? It's going to sound really horrible. I didn't actually know why Flick screamed to start with, because I just thought it was Mia getting up for some water. I didn't think she was sleepwalking. And it wasn't until they told me, like, oh, she's sleepwalking. It wasn't until they said it that I actually realised what was going on, because I couldn't tell. Is that horrible? That's horrible. That is horrible. Sorry, but I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why she screamed. I was like, oh, she's made a jump. But then I was like, why? Oh, I don't know.
I thought she was being worried about being caught kissing Tane.
Yeah, I thought it was like, oh, you made me jump. I didn't know you were there. But then it was like, oh no, she's sleepwalking. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I just thought she'd got out of bed. I didn't think.
I thought we'd seen the end of this. It's just ridiculous.
Back to bed, Mia.
Literally.
Literally.
Mia, back to bed. And then the next morning, she's like, "Hello, morning. Had the best sleep ever."
And then she was like, "What are you doing here, Flick?
Yeah.
When did you get here?"
And bless Flick, you know, she says, doesn't she? She has this scene and she's like, I'm really worried for her.
Yeah.
Tane. She speaks to Tane and she says, I've been there, I've had a breakdown.
Yeah.
And, I'm really worried for her. And I feel like something's afoot, I know she needs help,
Yeah.
and I'm concerned. And then the next thing we know, she's thrown everybody out of the gym because she's gone to work, knowing that she's sleepwalking and
Yeah.
and she's still not sought any sort of professional help, but she's just mad.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And she's in the office and Tane goes in to try and diffuse the situation. She opens, she admits, she says, "I think I'm losing my mind."
Yeah, I feel like I'm going insane. Yeah, I'm not surprised, but then she got. I was glad she opened up at that point. So before that, she was like, I'm fine, and the sleepwalking, I'm fine, I don't need help, blah blah blah. And then I thought, oh, this is the the first time she's admitted to someone, I need help. So she was saying to Tane, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't know whether to just leave the bay. Everything reminds me of Ari. I'm not coping, blah blah blah. And I thought, oh, here we go. This is good. Like, she's admitting that she needs help.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, she was back to, I don't need help. I don't need to go to the doctor. I'm fine. And I was like, oh, what was all that yesterday about then? We took like one step forward and 3 steps back, didn't we? In like the space of half an hour.
100%, absolutely, completely. Everything you said, you've just took the words out of my mouth. Like, just when you feel like you're getting somewhere with her.
Yeah.
She's right back where she started again, 100%. And Tane, I don't think Tane's doing the best. I've just mentioned it before. He's trying to keep them all together, but he's doing everything the wrong way. And it's later in the week. It's taken this long for him and Nick to sit her down and be like, you need to see a counsellor. You need to try and get some, she's actually had to say the words, "I'm losing my mind," for you to go, let's get you a counsellor. Like, your husband's died. No one's gonna judge you. Like,
your daughter's a murderer. You covered it up. you got arrested for hiding the body. Your fiance went to prison for the murder. Then he died on your wedding day. It's huge.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, sad.
It's not like, oh, you had a bad week at work. This is really bad. This is.
Yeah, exactly. And she's adamant that she's carrying on and trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
The more she plows on, the more things are coming off her. The more the wheels are coming off.
Yeah.
And I did like one of my favorite scenes of the week where she runs into Jasmine on one of her many runs, and Jasmine's been there, done it. Got the t-shirt, and she said, and she's staring out at the sea, like all people do when they're sad, happy, whatever, in Home and Away. And she says, "I've stared at that view many a times, but it didn't bring my husband back."
Yeah.
And she's sort of someone who understands her a little bit better, because I think that's Tane's problem.
Yeah,
he's obviously lost his brother, but he's not. He doesn't know how she feels, he can't empathize with her on that level, and Jasmine says something like, "All the things that used to make you happy now make you sad,"
Yeah.
And that's the moment, and I do love a pivotal moment in a storyline. I love it. And that's the moment where Mia decides, I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the bay.
Yeah.
Everything here is making me sad. I need to get away from it. Does she say to Tanya, actually, "I came for Ari, but I stayed for Chloe," or something like that? There was a line like that. And I'm thinking, well, he would have been in prison anyway. So it's a bit, but it's all that moment where it's pivotal. Mia decides she needs to be away from the bay for a bit. Is also the moment where Jasmine decides, with her stuff going on, as well, which we'll come on to in a minute.
Yeah.
Jasmine decides that she's going to actually let her siblings in,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they both vocalize, I got a lot from this conversation,
Yeah.
and
It was
you and me
a good
both.
plot point. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
gorgeous
us.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous scene. So Mia announces she's leaving. Rejoice.
Woohoo!
What did you think?
I was quite pleased. I'm sorry. I'm not the biggest Mia fan in the world, and I just don't know where the storyline will go now, because what can they do with her if she stays? Not a lot. How long is she going to be grieving for?
Well, is it up in the air that she's staying? Is it? I'm taking this as
Well, did you fast forward through the scenes tonight then when she was talking to Chloe?
yeah.
Right, okay. So she's obviously had this conversation with Tane and said that she wants to leave. And she's talking about handing over the gym to him and putting it all in his name, which he's really uncomfortable about. He's like, no, I don't want that, And he says something like, before you make these decisions, you need to tell Chloe. And Chloe overheard that. So
Yeah.
Chloe was like, tell me what? And then obviously we didn't see what she told Chloe, but basically, the whole thing, we heard her say something like, it's I've made a decision. We're going to leave the bay, and then all we see is Chloe's reaction. So she walks back out to into the surf club, and Nick and Bella are there playing pool, and she's obviously quite upset, having a bit of a tantrum. So you can tell when Chloe's not happy, can't you? So they're going, well, Chloe, what's the matter? And she's like storming out, and Mia's following her. And then I think the next bit we saw was in the look for next week, like the what do you call it, the first look, where it looked, the bit at the end after
the trailer,
yeah. So it looks like next week Mia's trying to calm her down, and Chloe's like, I can't believe you've made this decision for me again. You kept Ari from me when I was a kid, and that wasn't my decision. You took over with the Matthew thing. That wasn't my decision. I didn't get to meet my dad because of you. You've made all these huge decisions in my life without consulting me, and now you've made another one and said that we're leaving. And I actually think it's really bad timing, because it came just after a scene on the beach where Bella, Nick, and Chloe were all making up, because there'd been that friction between Bella and Chloe, and she caught her out in that lie. And just before that, Nick and Chloe had buried the hatchet, so they were getting on better, and they'd agreed to stop all the fighting and all that stuff. And they were like, I care about you. No, I care about you. So they were all friends again. And Mia saw this, because Mia and Tane were walking towards them while Bella and Chloe were hugging. And I thought, this is a really bad time to take her away now. Like maybe a couple of days ago, when everyone was hating her and nobody wanted to talk to her, maybe that would have been a good idea to leave. But she's just seen her reconcile with everybody, and these are the people that she needs and is clinging onto. And now she's saying, I'm going to take you away from all this. So it's just it's odd timing.
Yeah, and you know how you keep telling me that you don't think Chloe's going?
No, I don't
think
she is.
It makes sense then that Mia might need to do this for her.
Yes, it's Mia. It's Mia that wants to go. I mean, the scenes that we saw tonight for next week, she's trying to explain it to Chloe, because Chloe's like, I can't believe you've made this decision for me, and I've got my friends here, I've got my life here, and Mia's like, well, I haven't. My life isn't here now because Ari's gone. So I think they're going to get to the point now where Mia's like, okay, well, I'll leave because I need to, but actually Chloe is happy here. Maybe, I don't know.
Bloody heck.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think you saw me. I even tweeted this week. I was like, oh, shut the door on your way out. Like, oh my god, I was like jumping for joy when she said we're out of here.
Oh,
no. I knew it was coming. We've learned that at least Mia's going.
Yeah.
And they've not. Nothing. I don't want to be awful. Nothing nasty. Mia and Chloe, that whole dynamic has not worked.
No.
And the story has just been so insanely sad.
Yeah.
And it's just been one thing after another that none of us can relate to that level of tragedy.
Yeah.
That I think, and everybody you speak to says the same thing.
And it's really sad, but the way that the scenes are portrayed, it's not, like if it was someone else, I'd actually be crying with these scenes. If it was Leah and Justin going through all this, I'd be crying. Or who else? A couple, trying to think. You know what I mean, though, don't you? Like, if
the performance hasn't been there.
I think if Leah would, like, oh God, Leah's lost loads of husbands, and I know I've cried for Leah before. And I haven't been upset for Mia at all.
No, you really struggle to sort of empathise and feel for her, don't you? You really do struggle. And I think you made a comment and it stuck with me. So obviously I remembered it. Some time ago when I was talking about, struggling to empathise with her, with this same conversation, and you said maybe trying to explain it, because Mia's got this big facade all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
And trying to crack on, and she's always got a front up. Maybe we've struggled to get in there as viewers.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Like, because you don't see her cry. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've seen Leah break down, haven't we? We've seen Leah absolutely floods the tears, breaking down, and that breaks my heart. We've seen loads of people like that. But Mia hasn't really done that. I mean, the zombie sleepwalking and down in a glass of wine and salt. It's not really been that whole sinking into depression thing.
Yeah,
she's still got this wall. She's still got this, I'm strong, I don't need help, blah, blah, blah. And it's hard to feel sorry for someone that's like angry and I don't know. Yeah.
Even when she was walking into the sea. Oh, we should laugh. Even when she was walking into the sea, we couldn't get to it. And
it needs to be more emotional. It's so devoid of emotion, and that's because of her. That's because of the character. She's strong. She does. She takes everything on her shoulder. Like, I'm not going to break down. I'm Mia. I'm strong. I go to the gym. I'm a mum. I have to be strong for everybody else. I've been through loads of stuff before. I can get through this again. But it's to the viewers, because there's no emotion, we can't empathise with it.
And look how we've ended up getting in with Theo and getting on side with Theo. It was through his vulnerability.
And he's got proper, when he's upset, he's got proper puppy dog eyes. And that's what, the other week when he was really worried about how Leah and Justin were going to react to finding out the news about his dad, and his dad, what was he telling Leah in the city and all that stuff. There was some times when it looked like he was about to cry because he was like, oh God. And that got me. And like, obviously when the whole Ryder thing happened, buried alive thing happened, and Ryder was in the box thinking that was, the end, that got me choked up. And when they pulled him out of the box and he was like half dead and Rue was like screaming, I was like, oh my God, that was emotional. Yeah. But with Mia, it's just not emotional at all. It's very like, oh, I feel really sad and I'm not coping. It's like, okay, where's the feeling?
I know, I completely get. And do you know what? We're not on our own with this. Everybody who gets in touch with us, who speaks to us about the show, all the people who listen to the podcast, who chat to us as well, everybody says the same thing about her.
Yeah.
So, I do feel, because she's not been here 3 years, has she?
No.
So perhaps there's been a decision made somewhere.
Yeah.
She's not worked. I don't think Chloe has either.
And Chloe is emotional as well, and that's the difference. So Mia's very like, oh no, I'm, even when she says she's sad, she's like, oh, I'm really sad, I'm not coping, and it's just devoid of emotion, so you just don't really buy it.
Yeah.
But Chloe does get more emotional, but it's more in a kind of histrionic drama, over the top way, and again, not in a crying, sobbing. She's not really done that either, has she?
Yeah, true.
It's just, I don't know, it's just not believable when you think about it. If I went through what they are going through, I'd be a mess.
I know, exactly. And I suppose I'm trying to put myself in the actor's shoes. Where do you even begin? Trying to get an audience to buy into so much ridiculous tragedy.
And you don't know what they're told. You don't know how they're told to play it. She might be told, your character's really strong, your character doesn't break down, your character doesn't like to admit, defeat and admit when they need help. Yeah. So she's playing that part. It's just it's not working.
It's a definite character trait, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not pulling heartstrings or anything like that.
No. And because nobody in their right mind would be that together after everything that's happened to her.
No.
So her exit's imminent by the looks of things.
Yeah.
And, you know, it sounds like Chloe may break away and stick around, you know,
possibly.
and maybe she'll stay with the Paratas.
Yeah.
Let's hope that everyone can just get some peace from it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking Tane's not really had chance to grieve
No.
his brother.
No.
Of them all, really, Nico's the one really that's probably gone through more of that process, I think.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
And not gotten stuck like Mia has, you know.
Yeah.
So and yet he's the most sheltered one. So let's see how that goes. Mia's looking like she's on her way out, and
yeah.
We can be jovial. We can say, "Thank God, don't come back, never see you again." You know, and some characters you like, some you don't. But
yeah, you can't like everybody, and some characters maybe you're not supposed to feel. I don't know. Maybe we're not supposed to feel sorry for. Maybe we are supposed to think, no, she can handle this. You know, look what she's gone through before. She'll get through this again. So.
She's even matter of fact tonight. She's like, I'm signing the business over. I'm doing this. It's just like, okay, that's all transactional.
Yeah.
You know, black and white stuff. Where's that? I'm losing my gym that I fought so hard to get.
Yeah.
You know, where's all that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
what's she going to do next? Why isn't she worried about, you know, when she leaves the bay and she's got no business and she's got nothing? Why isn't she worried about her future and what she's going to do? And it's just a bit weird.
Yeah, we don't know enough, do we, about her future?
It's not human enough, is it? It's still a little bit like emotionless and robotic, I guess.
Yeah, not human enough. Yeah. Good way of putting it. Xander and Rose come to town for brunch. Many a muffin had.
Oh, gosh.
And
so I'm still hungry.
Awkward as.
Oh, I know.
You know, like, I struggle to watch these scenes, actually. Jasmine's flapping. She's, you know, where'd you put the knife?
It's on
the table. And then they turn up and it all gets a bit too hard. And, you know, that they're chatting along and there's, again, that moment, Cash and bloody Rose bonding over common ground, graduating academy, and they're controlling all the conversation. And all I can think about is them two.
Yeah.
Doing the dirty. That's all I can think about.
There's been a few scenes, haven't there? Because there was that scene around the table where they're all talking and Rose and Cash are getting on like a house on fire, and the other two are sitting kind of awkwardly looking at each other, aren't they? And it's a bit like, and Jasmine keeps kind of making excuses to leave the table, doesn't she? Like, Zebby, we need a coffee, and they're like, no, and she's like, oh, I'm going to make one anyway. So it's all a bit, and then she shuts herself in her room, doesn't she? Because Rose is talking about the graduation date, and then Xander says, oh, Dad was really proud of you. And obviously that's hurt Jasmine because she's like, oh yeah, because your dad was there for you and my dad wasn't there for me. And it's just...
She actually says something along the lines of, she's living the life I could have had.
Yeah.
You know, she's the devoted daughter, daddy's girl.
Do you know what? Do you know what hurt me when she was talking about that? She said, you know, I'm his biological daughter. She's his stepdaughter. He chose to be her dad.
Yeah.
I was like, ouch, she's right. That's really harsh.
Yeah. He chose,
He wasn't even
That's the bit that
he wasn't even Rose's dad, but he chose to be her dad. It's like, oh my God, that hurt. That was horrible.
100%. That's the bit that got me. I was going to mention it. And that is another moment where you think, Jasmine, you know, I've got to be with you, Jasmine. I can't be angry at you for not wanting to do this because it's one of those moments just in the right time where we need to be reminded, as the audience, how because if you've not grown up in foster care, you don't have these thoughts and feelings, you know.
No, exactly.
And she will have spent her life wondering, you know, my parents don't want me, you know. you know,
well, she
and then
made
to
up that
find
story,
out,
didn't she? Her story that she's been telling herself that she told Cash was, "Oh, my dad was a rubbish dad, and he just couldn't cope with being a parent and being a single dad, and that's why he did it." But then to
yeah,
find out actually that's all lies, and he could cope with being a parent, not only to his, his own son, but someone else's daughter as well. That's just it's
mad. And you
yeah,
know that we know, like in the kitchen when Rose catches her on her own,
yeah,
and she says, "I'll never forgive my dad
yeah, and then that
for what he's done
upsets
to
her.
you."
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're just thinking
yeah,
all the mixed emotions that Jasmine will be going through at that moment. You
yeah.
can't really judge her for
No,
her
no,
reaction, really, you know.
no.
And actually, at best, it's been awkward, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and it just takes her a time. And Rose and Xander sort of they're at the point where they're giving up. They're packing up the car
yeah,
and they're going out. And Jazz has obviously had that pivotal scene
yeah,
that we've just spoken about on the
yeah.
beach with Mia. So she goes rushing over to the caravan park to find out what they're up to, and she catches them just before they're leaving. Typical soap. And and she's like, "Please stay. I want to get to know you."
Yeah, yeah,
But now it seems like Rosie's just being an ass. Like,
yeah. I don't. Well, I don't know. First of all, the beach. The beach scene where they're walking down the beach because that happened before Rose
oh
sort of
yeah,
changed her mind. So
they say they're going to the lighthouse, but we'll go now
yeah,
in it.
they're
Yeah,
just kind of ambling around, aren't they? So on the
yeah.
beach, we see Rose and Cash again getting very chummy, and they're kind of walking behind Xander and
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine, and that made me feel uncomfortable because it was the way the scene played out. It was almost like Cash and Rose were the parents, and they were talking about the naughty kids in front of them that were walking ahead. It was a bit odd, that
Yeah,
dynamic.
yeah,
So that was strange. But what I found interesting about that scene was, when Xander and Jasmine were getting closer to each other, and it turns out they've got quite a lot in common as well. So he's a paramedic, she's a nurse.
mm.
And that surprising that they've got so much for four people that never met before. They've got so much in common. It's quite quite a surprise. Convenient, I guess, is the word. But it just reminded me how, from a psychological point of view, how fascinating Jasmine is a character, because
Yeah,
she's abandoned at 6 years old. She goes into the care system. That being that young and being abandoned and losing your mom and then being abandoned by your only surviving parent, that's going to do some long-term
yeah,
psychological damage to
yeah.
you. And normally when stuff like that happens, it can make you feel like you can't trust people, especially adults, and you push people away and you protect yourself, and you can get cold, can't you? You've got
Mm.
it's something that can make you cold and make you go, no, I don't, you could leave me, or I don't trust people. But when she's talking to Xander, it's like another reminder of the fact that she's not like that. She went into nursing because she wants to help people. And she's actually got a really kind heart. And for someone that's got such a tragic backstory at a young age, it's quite fascinating from us, because she
Yeah,
could have turned out to be really cold-hearted and horrible and hates people, and she hasn't at all. She's gone the opposite.
yeah, and that's her reasoning for her career, isn't it? I wanted to
Yeah,
help people. I wanted
yeah,
to, and she says that during that scene you're mentioning. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree, and this is why Jasmine is such a big favorite of mine.
yeah, yeah,
Because she is so complex
yeah, yeah,
and so raw, really.
yeah.
Um, even the moments this week, and she says, we're talking about Mia, how inhuman she comes across, and then the complete polar opposite. We're talking about Jasmine, who
Yeah,
couldn't be any more human if she tried.
yeah, yeah,
The lines like, "I don't want to be resentful, but I am."
yeah, yeah,
Like everything you've just listed, that her backstory,
yeah,
of course that affects her,
yeah,
and of course she's going to feel this, and it's okay to feel those things,
yeah, yeah,
um and then the fact that she's slowly letting these, and she's actually now willing to speak to them and try,
yeah.
just says a lot about her.
It does.
She's,
Yeah,
yeah, she's
yeah,
got something about. I just love her. You've hit the nail on the head. It says a lot about what an interesting character she is.
yeah,
That she's got all this layer to her.
yeah,
Um,
She's got a
And
huge heart. I think that's what it is. She's not cold. She's not cold-hearted at all. She's got a huge heart. But then, because of her backstory, she's also got this side of her personality that's trying to protect that heart. You know,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh no, I can't deal with this. You know, when she was freaking out last week and saying, no, I can't do this. You know, you're gonna have to go. That was her kind of protecting herself because she has got a big heart. I think she probably has got like the ability to get hurt quite easily. And that kind of thing. And that's when she goes into self-preservation mode, doesn't she? She does that quite a lot.
Yeah, she does. And now this is where we're at the point with Rose sort of deciding that she can't do this anymore. And you're thinking, Rose, I don't think Rose is quite appreciating because she's had it all for growing up. She's got the great, you know, she had the stable life. She's got the great job. She had the loving father. I don't think she's quite appreciating actually.
No.
Jasmine's situation here. Do
you think it's a power struggle? Because it was, you know, when Rose was kind of calling all the shots, like she kept turning up at the doorstep and saying, take the money. And she kept saying, oh, we want to hang out with you. We want to get to know you. And she was making all the decisions. And she was even pushing Xander along because Xander was like, maybe we should go home.
That's right. Yeah.
And Rose was like, no, let's stay. Let's keep going. Dad abandoned her. We can't abandon her and all this stuff. And now the tables have turned. And Jasmine today was taking control, wasn't she? And she was saying, oh, let's go and do this. Let's go and do that. And coming up with all the ideas. And that's when Rose freaked out.
Yeah,
so
you could be onto something.
I don't know. It seems like a bit of a power struggle.
Yeah, I think you could be onto something there. It'd be interesting to see how that unfolds, actually.
Yeah.
Because if it is that, she's going to look a bit jovial, a bit childish.
Yeah.
In the long run, you know.
Yeah.
I think she'll come round. I think Xander will talk. He did attempt to talk around, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it's interesting you mentioned because obviously it was Xander that was like, "Oh, leave her then" last week, and this week he's the one that's booking extra leave, you know, and willing to stick around because he's realised, you know, that they've sort of bonded on that common ground thing, you know.
Yeah. And Jasmine even says that to Rose, doesn't she? She goes, look, me and Xander are a bit further ahead. We've bonded a bit more. You and I have still got some work to do. So
this whole thing is fascinating for me.
It is.
I'm just lapping it all up. What about you?
Yeah, loving it.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. And it's not high drama, high stakes. It's just family drama, you know.
But this is Summer Bay. This is Home and Away, isn't it? The drama between the families. This is what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And the odd car crash.
Oh yeah, and the odd
until
kangaroo.
One of them crashes the car. Oh dear. That brings us to the end of the action. I'm surprised we got through that so timely. You know, I was looking at my notes before we started recording, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be here at 11 p.m." We moved swiftly, Sophie. That's not like us.
No, it's swiftly. Not. What have we missed?
We'll think about it later.
Laugh that much, did we? I guess.
How can you with this subject matter?
I
know. One thing I forgot to mention at the start of the episode, so I'll mention it now, is the subscriber-only episode is up this week. And so if you're a paid subscriber, if you're not, you can subscribe in the link in the episode description of this episode. And broke a record. And this week we're talking about that shower video of Orpheus Pledger and his, you know, oodie doody on Instagram.
He's what? I don't remember that one in the biology lesson.
Oh, you know, Orpheus Pledger getting busted. You know, the you know what happened to him in his life. Interesting one. Do take a listen if you are a subscriber, and if not, subscribe, listen to that, and all the others, all 10 of them. There's 10 of them now that you'll get access to. Also, where can people find us, Sophie, if they want to get in touch with us?
Oh no, I've lost the plot now. Okay, so obviously they can listen to our wonderful podcast wherever they get their podcasts from. So the usual places like Amazon and Spotify and Apple. We're on Player FM. Where else are we? We're all over the internet, aren't we?
Yeah.
all over the internet. So there's no excuse to not listen to us. But also we have social media. We do the tweeting along with the
We do the
episode.
tweets.
Just to sound like me now. We do the tweets. So we have a Twitter account which is at Coastal News Pod, and we also have an Instagram. So come and find us and join in the discussions, because we do tweet along with the episodes, and we love it when you get involved as well. There's quite a lot of discussions going on the channel about Dimitri at the moment and the reactions to him, which has been interesting, and talking about Heartbreak High and the fact that he came from there and he knew Leah from Heartbreak High as well. A lot of people have been getting involved with the chat about that.
And we love that. It's our favourite bit, isn't it?
And guess who tweeted me this week?
Who tweeted you this week, Sophie? I don't know.
The lovely John Palmer. I was so excited. I couldn't believe it was him. So Shane that plays John, we had a little chat, and I tagged him into our discussion about the fact that John's back and how he's treating Theo with the whole Dimitri storyline. And bless him, he tweeted us back, didn't he? He gave us some hearts and kisses, which absolutely made my week. So yeah, you never know what's going to happen on the old Twitter.
Get in touch.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really good. It's good crack chatting with other home and away fans, isn't it? From all around, all over. Yeah. Lovely. Well, that was your best one. That was your best one. Yeah. Oof. That was your best one. But I'll give you a few weeks off, and I thought,
throw me under the bus.
Right, let's do first look. This is a chance for us to get ahead, find out what's going to go down in the bay this week, and also a little sneak peek at what we'll be discussing on next week's podcast. I ask it every week, are you ready? But I don't think you are ready for this jelly. Here I do.
Oh man. Right, shall we go?
Tane gets threatened by Dean over her and Mia.
Oh. Hey?
That doesn't make any sense, does it? Who writes these? Tane gets threatened by Dean over her and Mia.
Who's
him and
her and Mia?
Does it mean him and Mia?
Who's her?
He and I, you and thee? I don't know.
Thou and thou'st? I don't know. I don't get that one at all.
I don't know. They want sacking whoever this is.
I want that job.
Bittersweet memories. Yeah, we're on the market.
Yeah.
Bittersweet memories keep Mia and Chloe apart. And Mackenzie gets a new and unlikely hostess for poker.
Not Flick.
A new and unlikely. Okay.
Who else could it be?
In rolls Martha with a Zimmer frame.
On a dialysis machine.
And a drip.
Oh no. Hostess. It's got to be a lady then, hasn't it? So Irene.
Maybe. Or Maz. Maybe she drops by for a late night pizza.
Maybe. Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
That'll be it. I wonder what's going on there. Unlikely poker hostess.
Yeah, I can't think who that would be. It could be anybody, couldn't it? That's the problem. Unlikely. Loads of them.
Rider in drag.
I hope so.
Still see those pictures. Dimitri seems to have vanished from the bay.
Good.
Well, yeah.
See ya.
Ta-ra. And the secret of Mackenzie's poker night begins to spread. Oh, God. This is only Tuesday, you know.
This is a worst kept secret now. This is awful. Keep it a secret. Okay, bring your boyfriend. Oh, God.
I'm biting the remote here because there's an American spelling and it's one of my bugbears.
Oh, no. Was a Z, is it?
Felicity helps Tane realise the truth.
Oh, what's the truth then?
The truth is that Mia's not really sleepwalking. She
just acts like that.
She's lucid the whole time. Dean gets a new Dean gets a new informant to help out. Oh, because obviously he's tried to get
Ryder. Yeah.
Ryder it. Maybe it's the new hostess. Oh, Ziggy. Maybe Ziggy's the host. No.
No, that would be
No.
that would be very unlikely,
No.
wouldn't it?
Dean gets a new informant to help out because he's obviously tried to get info via Ryder.
Maybe it's just Logan.
That's not worked.
Maybe it's just Logan.
Oh, they're buddying up.
Maybe.
Dumb and Dumber. Theo tries to get away from Dimitri.
Oh, I thought you'd buggered off.
Come home, son.
Oh.
Emo's obviously back. And Martha decides to keep things a secret from Rue.
Oh.
Never ends well.
No.
Rose.
What are we keeping a secret? The fact that she's dying.
I had a kidney last week. But I'm just going to pretend I'm ill for a bit longer.
I'm going to fake my own death again. Yeah. Oh, God.
Rue mustn't know. Rose looks for a way to stand. Let me start that again. Rose looks for a way to stay around.
Looks for a way to stay around. Just stay around. I don't get it.
Damn YCPD for a job.
Oh, yes. Transfer.
Rue gets her second shot with Martha.
What, booster?
And Dimitri.
Is that a COVID storyline? Booster?
12 weeks. And Dimitri gives Justin a tough lesson. Oh no, is he gonna?
Ooh.
Oh no, is he gonna give him a bit of a good hiding?
I hope so.
What, Justin?
Yeah. Oh, no, you mean Justin gives Dimitri a lesson, or Dimitri gives Justin a
No,
lesson?
Dimitri gives Justin one.
Oh no, I don't want that. Sorry, I heard it the other way around. Oh, I was wishful thinking then. I was thinking Justin's gonna beat Dimitri up. Oh no! Do you think he's gonna beat? Can he even reach Justin's face? He's quite short, isn't
What
he?
other tough lesson is it gonna give him?
I don't know. He does he speaks with his fist though, doesn't he? I don't think he'd do it like.
Finally, Xander tries to keep peace between feuding sisters.
Oh God! Uh-oh.
And Justin struggles to withstand Dimitri's anger as Theo tries to put things right.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Lots of Dimitri, I think. Even though it looks like he's gone early in the week, he's back and he's not happy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Coastal News. We really do appreciate all your support. Please follow, like, subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. And we're on social media at Coastal News Pod. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye from me.
Bye.
Bye.